remote. So today we're gonna be talking about knives. Not really. Or perhaps this one. I finished Zelda, so bragging rights. So let's get to the topic. We're gonna be talking about the 50mm 1.8. So I just got this one today, secondhand. It was shipped yesterday, so it was pretty fast. So shout out to Laddie for selling this wonderful lens to me for an affordable price, and I've been really looking forward to get an AF lens. So today we're going to be talking about the 50mm 1.8 and why I actually made this purchase, even though I already have the Rokinon 85mm 1.4 together with my A7R II. But apart from that one, we'll also be discussing the specs a little bit. I'm not an expert with lenses and how it's built, but I'll try my best to try to explain what's actually inside, and yeah. Very excited to test this lens out. I'm not using this for videoing right now, clearly because I'm holding it. I'm using my old Nikon, what's the range of that one? 28 to 70, 28 to 80, somewhat like in that range. So bear with a manual focus and let's see how it goes. Alright, so let's talk more about the 50mm 1.8, and as I've mentioned, this is a 50mm. This is the equivalent focal length of an 85 or 75mm on an APS-C sensor, and it has good compression, and its max aperture is 1.8, which is pretty damn good. It's good for low light purposes. It's pretty fast, and when I say pretty fast, it's how much light it can actually get in compared to fast autofocus, and that is actually one of its downsides. So when you have the 50mm 1.8, make sure that you're actually shooting at a good condition wherein there's sufficient light, but when it actually goes super dark, or you're indoors and your lights are pretty dim, it does have a fault. When it tries to autofocus, it's super slow. It goes back and forth. So I've just tried it once, and also regarding with other people's reviews as well, but for the price, it's really good. You can't really go wrong with a $250 purchase, and that's New Zealand dollars, not US dollars, and that is so cheap. So this is the cheapest one that you could actually get. It's actually E-mount, so it's most likely for full frame, but you can also use it for the APS-C sensors such as the A6400, A6500. It could still work, but on a tighter focal length, it would actually convert into around 75 to 85mm, around that range. I'm not the best in math, so suck it. So the actual dimensions of this one is just around 68 by 59mm, so it's pretty small, it's pretty compact, and it's actually pretty good. I feel like it's much more better compared to the Canon 50mm 1.8, to be honest, because I've also used that one, and the only advantage of that one is the fast autofocus. Even though it's really dark, it does have a better autofocus than this, but build quality wise, I feel like this one wins the battle.
You win! Perfect!
It's actually quite light. It's just 186 grams, so you can carry this around anywhere you want, together with your kit lens or maybe a wide angle lens, just to get for a variety for landscape and for portraits. Another thing about 50mm and why I got it is because I love the compression of this one, even though I already have the 85mm, which is super good. I feel like I need a 50, whichever system I actually go. I've come from Olympus, I've done Nikon, I've tried Canon, and I would still go for a 50mm, hands down. I need a 50. It's good because when you're doing it on full frame, it's almost the same as the perspective of your eye. So when you're using full frame, it's 50 is the nearest one that you could actually get with your eye perspective. So also you can use it for street photography. Apart from portraiture, you can still use it on landscapes. Actually, this is actually good for landscapes, to be honest, because of the compression. You could actually see, you know, the objects that you're trying to put into the frame much more closer, and it looks much more better. So yeah, that's one of the biggest advantages of having, you know, this focal length 50 mm onwards going up. I feel like it's a really good lens for landscape. Now that's not something that you actually hear every day, because for landscapes usually they would recommend like a super wide angle or ultra wide angle lens, but for me I would definitely go for this one. I can just go back further a little bit, unless you already are like, you know, at the edge of a cliff, then don't use this one. You need to step back a little bit just to use this one for landscape. So well, apart from that, it's good. It's good. Very, very good. So another good thing about this lens is the chromatic aberration and the distortion that it actually has. So it does have a really, really low distortion. So straight lines will be straight and curved lines will be curved. A distortion actually means that, you know, if you actually take a look at wide angle lenses, it would actually show you that, you know, for example, like a fisheye lens wherein most of the edges are actually curved. Well, you could actually do it in post, you could actually fix that one, but it's not really the best way to do it. So usually I actually use 50 mm to 85 mm on my landscapes as well. This is actually a good lens fit for architectural photography, because straight lines will be straight lines, as I've said earlier, so it wouldn't really stretch out on the corners of the photo. And apart from that one, the chromatic aberrations are, you know, the colors that you actually see on the edges on your subject when you're trying to take a photo. So the lesser the chromatic aberration is, the better, because, you know, especially for large prints that you're actually doing. But if you're actually just doing this for the hobby, then that's fine. You don't really need to be concerned that much with chromatic aberration, unless you go pixel peeking and then see like, oh, this image, these edges, they're just so, I don't know, it's just not right when you see it in the eyes. Well, that actually wraps up what I could actually say about the 50 mm 1.8, the pros and cons, and why I actually decided to buy it. And I am very excited to use this one for most of my shoots. This lens would probably be the most used lens that I would actually have. Judging from my previous systems, I've been using 50 since forever, so I'm gonna be using this one mostly for portraits and landscapes. So most of the time, even on videos, I'll be using this one, so really excited. I'll be creating another video for this 85 mm 1.4 comparison with this 50 mm 1.8, so look forward to that one. Let's see how this fares with that beast. And though it's just manual focus and this one has autofocus, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully I could actually give you a proper assessment of this lens on the next video. Alright, till then, adios. Oh, and by the way, if you've noticed, I just got this very, very cheap remote shutter for you guys who actually want a remote for your Sony camera. This is very cheap. This is like, I don't know, $5. I'll link in the description below. And yeah,